Hello. This video, I'm going to talk to you about someone who shared with me about their near-death experience in the hospital. Isabella went in for a routine heart procedure, and her surgery was scheduled at 8 a.m. on the morning that I met her, and her cardiac doctor assured her that she would be home by noon. She checked in at his office, which was a building that just happened to be right next to a hospital, and at the other end was an emergency room that was state of the art. Her husband was seated in the waiting area and was watching television. Once the procedure began, Isabella was sedated and seemed to be doing well. All of a sudden, her heart stopped in the middle of the procedure. The medical team began CPR, used a defibrillator and other means to get her heart to start. Nothing worked. So they literally loaded her on a gurney and ran her over to the emergency room. And they started using all of the means that they had to get her heart to start beating and working on its own. It took them a few minutes to get her to revive, but her heart did begin to beat on its own. Once she was stabilized, they moved her up to ICU, and that's where I met her and her husband for the first time. That evening, when I came into her ICU room, her husband told me what had happened to Isabella. And I told him, "Oh my goodness, that must have been so frightening." And Isabella said, "Well, I don't remember any of it, but it scared me when they told me that." So I prayed with them, and then I told them that I would see him the next day. The next day I came in, and this is when Isabella asked if she could share something with me, something that she hadn't told anyone yet. She said, "I don't know how this happened." She said, "But I woke up and I was in a room, but I was in a bed. And in the corner of the room, my father, who died a few years ago, was sitting in a chair, and behind him were all my other relatives who had passed away. And they were all just looking at me. And then finally, my dad said, 'Isabella, you can't stay here. You have to go back. Now go on back because you have to take care of your siblings.'" And she said the next thing she knew, she woke up and she was in ICU. And she said, "I'm so grateful that I had this experience, but I don't really understand it." So I explained to her that normally we call those experiences a mystical experience or near-death experience. And she said, "Oh, it's because my heart actually stopped and I died." And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Apparently you crossed over, but your father met you and said that you had to come back because you have a purpose and a plan for your life." And she said, "I do feel like that I have a mission now, and it's important, and it does make me want to live out my life to the best of my ability for the rest of the days that I have." That was the last time I saw Isabella, but I was so grateful that she shared her story with me. So I want to ask you, do you believe in near-death experiences? Have you ever read a book about a near-death experience? And please make a comment or ask any questions that you have in the section below. Also, I'm going to attach another video about a near-death experience with a patient that shared their experience with me, so you can click on that after this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel.